Hey guys. Well, it's late. Can't sleep. Um, it's a trip how things kind of come full circle. You know, I'm not a doctor. Never said I was a genius or, uh, said I had any ability, in this kind of arena at all. I mean, none. But when it comes down to, pushing and shoving, and it's your world's at stake. I think anybody out there could do what I've done. It's not hard. It's just reading and remembering and trying to apply it. Well, it. I still get shocked by things I know, because half the time I don't even realize I know it. It's just weird, it's like I'll get hit with questions. Have you ever heard anything about this, or somebody needs help? For instance, got a call today while I was at work. Don't know the lady. I don't know her personally. She keeps on mentioning a name, but I'm having a brain fart on that one big time. But she just was asking for help. Her husband has, I believe it's colon cancer. Yeah, colon cancer, but lesion on his liver. Well, lesion. What's a lesion? Well, you look at it. Is lesion scar tissue? Is it, you know, a tumor that's ingesting itself? Is it, what is it? Well, that lesion is growing, so it's not a lesion. It's cancer. I mean, I could almost guarantee it's cancer. Literally almost. That's where the whole stage is allowing it to get bigger. So let you get sick enough to treat, so to speak. Well, I can't stress enough to this person that she needs to get going, man. This man needs to make a decision on what he's gonna do and how quick he's gonna do it. I mean, I can help. I'll give you the information, that kind of stuff. But you gotta really make a decision. He's gotta get up. Either or. I mean, so she she mentioned something about me making oil. I'm like, whoa, slow down. I don't do any of that. I'm not one of these clinics or that kind of stuff. Anyway, I was just kind of thrown aback by it, but my heart is golden when it comes down to this kind of shit. I mean, I always tell myself that I'm gonna slow down and don't bug people, don't chase, don't do anything in the extent of too much, to get yourself crazy again. Because I'm not sure if people are aware. I got real sick through this. I lost a lot of weight, and I lost a lot of weight really fast. What happened was I was bleeding internally. Didn't know that. I always felt full. My stomach always hurt. That was just because of stress and me not sleeping and not eating real well, and then just me riding constantly. Well, I was trying to get back into playing softball, because it just seems like that was the only thing where I could really go, where I wasn't trying to reach something, because literally that's what it's about, man. It's like I'm either looking up at a video of something, or I'm reading. It's like I can't stop learning. My learning's getting a little bit funner for me in some aspects, because it's got my truck going. It's been sitting since '08, and all I did was buy the manual. You know what I mean? I bought a manual. I read the thing. I mean, I can tell you where every damn fuse is on that car. I mean, I've never done anything. I'm not a mechanic at all, but I did a lot of shit on that truck already, and I don't know anything about it. But it's just weird how for me anyway, how much, my boss told me, he's all, you probably could have been anything you wanted to be, huh, Jerry? Well, fuck you too. Well, anyway, it's just a real touchy thing. when it comes down to people's, lives and sickness and, disease and this whole cancer thing in general, man. Because like I said before, man, it's not going anywhere. I can't stress, 1/3 to 1/2 of the United States of America will be affected with cancer in one shape or form. That's unreal. If that does not make you fucking get up and do something just for your own sake, be prepared. Because it doesn't care if you're fucking Mexican, white, black, Asian. I mean, it does not give a fuck. It will take who you love and beat the shit out of them. And those doctors that we run to, feed the program. Because they're making a lot of money off of it. And us as a society, we're so still, I mean, I hate to call it stupid or, naive is probably a better word, but it's like, how long are people going to believe the propaganda that this whole government of ours, from Nixon to throughout the years, I mean, Reagan, the whole drug war has been the biggest fucking false piece of bullshit that's ever been. Cannabis, it was literally in every known medication. Everything. They took it out for a purpose. And I think they made enough money by now, don't you think? You know what I mean? Fuck, how much money do you really need? It's just to me, it's appalling that this is still going on and why, our federal government is allowing this to happen. I thought they were for us, the people, I mean, it's not. They're not here to protect us. They're not here to do anything, nothing for us, it seems like, man. With this whole Oregon thing going on, I don't know if people are paying attention to what's that, this is just the tip of the iceberg, man. You don't own your house. You think just because you bought that house and, you're paying for it and you're, you don't own that house. They can seize that house anytime they like. Eminent domain. Look it up. It's no bullshit. This is truth. And this is just the first sign of it. I mean, there's just so much other shit going on in Texas, This whole martial law they tried to impose, it wasn't martial law. There was a training exercise for the military. Get the fuck out of here. Imagine you're in your block and people are coming around. Well, they use a lot of scare tactics on a lot of people, man. Well, I never expected what I had learned when it came to this whole stuff. I always I always say to this, I gave it to God, because God allowed me to learn something, something that there's no way in hell I would have learned prior to this. I learned it. I try to learn as much as I possibly could about cancer. As much as I possibly can. I mean, I'm still learning, mind you. I don't have it all down. I try to learn every day, especially because, my life's on the line if I fail. I'm not scared. That's a different thing for me now. I've been scared for 5 years. Well, a good 4.5. Every day. I mean, I know everybody kind of, being scared. Well, what's scared? I mean, no, I was terrified that this was my last day with her. I didn't know. Who really knows what could happen when you're fighting this disease and what these doctors are introducing into your body? I mean, there's so much lies in the middle that you don't really know what's true and what's not anymore when it comes to this. And I understand the whole, when it comes to people, but if there's something that's already been proven that it kills cancer, or it doesn't so much kill cancer, it makes cancer kill itself, but it does so much more than that too. Epilepsy, lupus, Lyme disease, cystic fibrosis, fibromyalgia, Malaysia, or whatever, how you say it, HIV, it just applies in so many general and vast directions. You gotta remember, this is something that doesn't replenish organs, okay? Doctors they're cavemen. They're evil fucking people when it comes down to this shit, right? Because if they don't know how to fix it, or they don't know how to get rid of it, then they just chop it off and get rid of it. They don't give a fuck about what it does to you as a patient years later. Let's just deal with it now. You'll suffer. Who cares about you later? We're done with you by then. That's a fucked up situation, man, to be in, because you're the one that's going to be living in pain, and your families are the ones that are going to be suffering because they're going to be watching you suffer. Well, people still call, and they still find me. It's funny how they do, but they still do. Our family of ours has gotten pretty big and pretty vast. We're global now. So you guys all have family. It's all on the other side of the world. Just think about it that way. Pretty crazy, huh? Especially because this whole group was never really supposed to be anything. Made a sign. Used to play ball a lot. The sign traveled. Started making pictures of people. Got overran. Put them in a group because that's what my wife wanted. My love wanted, and I did it. And people joined and got bigger and bigger, but in the process I learned. Why? Because I was, in the beginning, I have a lot of girlfriends. I was trying to teach them something, like wake up, just trying to help, be prepared, or wake, do this or do that kind of stuff. I learned a lot, but I wasn't applying what I learned early on. Only a few times. I kept everything hush hush, and because I was scared. But when somebody calls you, and then they're very country, and they're just probably just as naive as you are, just as scared as you are, I didn't give a fuck at that point. Everything I knew, I was telling them, and if I didn't know, I was researching and then calling them, and that kind of scenario, because I didn't know what laws were, or how. I heard horror stories about them, back then, taking kids, and from what I understand, they still do it, taking children away from their parents. Doctors are playing God, and they're calling the CDC on parents, and parents would get arrested. Child go back to the hospital on chemotherapy, will he die, and while the dad was in jail. Fucked up. But yet everybody was applauding about that girl who chose to kill herself rather than going through treatment. I mean, I everybody has their own view on that, I guess, and I'm not going to preach on anything that anybody, chooses in their life. But, you fucking kidding me? I mean, I busted my ass to try to figure something out, man. Just, I want her to live. I don't want her to die. I don't understand how everybody would be okay with her dying when there's something here that, can give you a viable chance. Better than the alternative. I just don't get it. Well, this is going to keep repeating. Okay? It's something that will keep repeating. Why? Because, our society is out of sight, is out of mind. There's not enough people talking about this. Because our media is owned, obviously, but that comes to you, everybody out there, to learn as much as you possibly can, because this applies to all of us, our children. CBD oil, even you can put it in foods and stuff. It's one of the best things that's out there, that's been proven for 5,000 years. 5,000 years, man. I didn't realize it reached that far back. ADHD, OCD, epilepsy. I mean, obviously different ways of doing it, topical issues, were skin protection, protecting deals, eczema, psoriasis. I mean, just so many different venues where this stuff protects you against. Sunblock, nature's sunblock, far out. um, soaps, perfumes. You know, I mean, it's just unreal, right? Where it's an all natural thing, and because it'd pretty much wipe out the pharmaceutical industry. That's a given. Uh, they're keeping it for a reason. They won't do any real big testing on it. Well, I mean, yeah, they're doing some, but you gotta remember the first country that ever comes back and publishes, you know, which was, I believe, was France. Um, they're basically going against the United States, our federal government. You know, our federal government is called, you know, they're I mean, if anything, they're the ones that are responsible. Why? Because they're the ones that hold the patent for cannabis. And now cannabis oil has been introduced into that patent, well, a number of years ago, but it's introduced. It's part of it now. They're going to keep whatever they want away from us, especially if it's something that's going to wipe out their money maker. That's what I mean by being proactive. You have to do this yourself. You cannot depend on your doctors. General practitioners, okay, up to an extent, but you know, if you're, you know, you have a detrimental disease, um, you're a guinea pig. They're doing something that has worked for other people, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. Everybody's different. Um, 10 people in a bowl. Let's try this particular product protocol. It works for 8. What about the other 2? See you later. They're write-offs because it's worked for them. The good outweighs the bad, so to speak. Fuck that. My love would have been one of those 2 that was left. Not in my watch. Well, I realized through all this stuff, you know, and I wish, you know, I used to blame myself really bad. I was really hard on myself because I would just wish I would have known this early on. You know, I could have saved my love so much pain, suffering that she went through, just unneeded. She's what, I believe 50 some odd weeks cancer free now, no chemotherapy. Her doctor, because she had radiation, because where it was a metastasized tumor on her nerve endings, L3, L4, 5, you know, metastasized tumor around those, bone fusion surgery, tumor removal. She had to have radiation on that particular part of her nerve because they were afraid to cut. And she would cut, she'd be paralyzed, and then she ultimately would die. So radiation was our only hope on that aspect, because it had to have an immediate response. Chemotherapy, we didn't, you know, she didn't want to do. And at that point, I knew this was our only hope. But that's a scary fucking thing, man, because her life was literally in my hands. You know, I could have very well fucked it up. I was scared. I was scared, man. Scared. And I didn't have anybody. You know, nobody really I could talk to or really confide in. You know, I didn't have my mom. You know, my mom was always somebody I could, you know, cry to and just be me. You know, I haven't had a real, you know, true friend in such a long time. I forgot what they're like. You know, it's been a long time. Somebody told me, "Yeah, you're a loner." I guess I am. You know, I never really thought of myself as a loner, you know, because I've always had friends, you know, literally all over, you know, different kinds of friends, and, you know, different cultures and that kind of stuff. But when through this whole deal, you know, I got to see, you know, a lot of realness in some fucking not so real people, you know. But then again, I saw some fucking awesome qualities and some people that just amaze me every day. Every time I see them, it's, you know, the biggest hugs. And, you know, yeah, people probably got bored of what I was trying to do, and I totally understand because it's not affecting them. You know, looking at it from a distance, you know, you're just trying to live your life, and I get that now. I didn't get it then. Boy, I didn't get it then, man. It was really hard for me to deal with watching people having fun, you know. This wasn't okay. That's why I was telling somebody the other day when I was out there playing. I mean, obviously, cool thing was, while I went out to play, I mean, it was pretty much the same scenario all over again. Me sitting by myself and them over there all having fun. It's funny how the pages churn real quick. From people that would supposedly would have done anything, die for you when you came down to blows, or whoever, and then all of a sudden, not the same. Well, one of the guys who I've always, I always had mad love, mad respect for. He was a good guy. He never did anything in particular to me. It was just kind of you're either with me or against me kind of mentality, and I get it because that's me. But I just couldn't trust anybody, especially not them. They all churned and they churned ugly. And it was all about, it was getting evil there for a while. I'd be at their base and playing against, the whole team would go at me. I mean, literally the whole fucking team just hitting rockets. Boom, 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 boom. I'm here all day. A lot of people don't like playing that position, but I loved it. I've always had fun over there. But it just kind of got south. But I had made promises to my girl about not getting in the mix or not doing anything, because there was a few people that I just really wanted to beat, just to choke to make look purple, I know it could, but that's the problem. I just didn't want to do it. One of them was a good friend, I thought. Not anymore. I see the motherfucker whenever I play, and I just want to rip his fucking head off. But because of who I am now, I won't do it. This family of ours, it's a trip. People request to join. Hey, one thing is, if I'm not always on, but if you see something out there that just doesn't look right, let me know, because I don't want anybody posting shady shit on here. We're a family here. Take care of each other, respect each other. I can't stress that enough. But I was working hard, I've been working a lot lately and trying to stay busy, and still not sleeping all that much, but I am gaining some weight, because you can tell, with the neck and all that. But anyway, just been trying to stay busy. Haven't really been playing ball, but anyway, I didn't know anything about some ordinances that were passed in our city. I live in the city of Santa Fe Springs. Well, I guess without it being public knowledge, I guess. Well, I guess it was considered public knowledge, but it wasn't so public because I never received anything in the mail stating that this is something that the city was trying to do, and I am a resident of the city. Well, they're trying to ban medicinal marijuana shops in our city. I don't know how anybody out there feels about that. If they, lived in a city where they were trying to ban something that ultimately could save your life, having access to. I understand, there's so many woes about that because of the element that it brings and the abuses that people have used, but there's guidelines that we could follow, not allowing anything made with butane or, to be sold from this particular store, or tax them high. The people are going to make their money anyway. They're going to make their money. So tax them. Make sure, it's regulated in the sense of where it's located, the quantity on hand at any particular time, you know what I mean? That kind of scenario. I'm not saying even background checks to the people that own it, but I'm not saying police involvement or even city involvement in the facility. What they own is what they own. It's a business. But, put some ramifications on it. Make it by appointment only between this hour and this hour, so that way it's not mad rush. And then, that kind of scenario. Try at least. Why? I don't understand how the city can allow a transfer site. That's what they phrase it as, a transfer site. It's a fucking dump. One dump's gonna come here. We're gonna fuck with it here, and they're gonna transfer it to someplace else. But it's still gonna be here. It's still gonna be leaving. Blowing off emissions. We're gonna be breathing it. Fuck, I've been here, what, I don't want to say more than 15 years, almost 20 years now. This whole fucking plant over here, I don't understand how people are not, saying anything about this facility. Residual oil, residual, is always there in pipe. Vapor or actual fluid, it's always there. Even underlying dirt, it's there. Been breathing that shit forever. You have the tests and saying that this and that, but I mean, do you really believe tests anymore? Fuck, anybody can say anything, and the way everybody's been lying nowadays when it comes to our administration, to, obviously this whole oncology game, these doctors have been lying to us forever, so, what do we really believe? Well, I was driving home. I forgot I was supposed to call my love, on the way home, but I was just trying to get home. Come around the corner and I see my love outside on the porch, and she's talking to two young women. Well, I turn around, park the car, and sure enough, I see them coming towards me. Well, my love introduced me to these girls. We started talking a little bit, and they wanted me to sign a petition, and that's how I was informed about this whole closure, or the prospective closure. What they didn't expect is me being as knowledgeable as I am about this particular deal. Well, I guess I'm speaking in front of city council on the whole matter. Oh shit, this is where it begins. So how do I do this when somebody wants to cuss every second or third word? I'm not going to be able to cuss? Good luck. But no, tomorrow, I'm going to try to, I'm trying to put some stuff together tonight, just something I can present to them. And, I got to make it personable, I got to make it about us, so they can relate to an actual residence here in their city that they're trying to, I know we're not the only one. I know there's other people out there. I mean, you got to come forward, man. People got to step up, because it's literally 1/3 to 1/2. I mean, your mom's got 2 kids. One of them's getting sick. It's fucked up. But anyway, I guess wish me luck. Trying to put some stuff together, like I said today. But if anybody has any advice, man, I'm not really much of a public speaker. Suffice to say, I know it's the opposite when it comes to me blabbing about cancer, and people can tell you, man, because once I start talking, I will not shut up. Because I figure if I talk enough, you'll start to listen. I just don't want you guys to have to go through what my love has went through, and ultimately what I've been through. Well, I was talking about how I got real sick over this. I had internal bleeding. I went to go run playing ball, and heard water, like when you drink. And sure enough, man, it was blood. They gave me 4 months. They said if I didn't change things, 4 months. I was like, full of shit. 4 months? What are you talking about? 4 months what? Jerry, 4 months, you're gonna die. Where the fuck did this come from? What, I have cancer or something, or what? Jerry, you're bleeding internally, and there's not a damn thing we can do about it. Especially because you don't want to take anything. No, not from you guys. I don't trust anything you guys are gonna fucking try to give me. What is it gonna cause, next year? Well, you gotta find a way, because this is what's going on. I guess I was bleeding out pretty bad inside. Felt dizzy, felt weak a lot, They said the stress of me losing so much weight in such a dramatic fashion and so quick put undue stress on my body. It was like if somebody just scratched down the inside of my stomach, and it was bad. Well, what do? I got on oil. I started taking oil. I started taking some of the stuff for my love's medicine. To trip how well this shit works. I'm gaining weight again. I don't want to get fat again, but I love food. What can I tell you? Um, it's just a trip what it does and how it affects you, in so many different ways. Still haven't beat that whole insomnia thing yet, man. I still can't. I don't know. It feels like I feel like I'm missing something. That's when it's like I'm going to sleep, but I'm going to sleep. What did I miss? What did I miss? That kind of deal. It's just hard, but I'm better. I feel better. Still kind of weak. I'm still trying to get my strength back again. Just gotta start working out again. I gotta start doing something. But my shoulder's been fucking jacked. Hurt it at work. But anyway, oh my god, excuse me. I want to represent us in the best light possible. I don't know if I should make it personal about what we had been through, or do I make it personal about our family? We talk about us as a whole, I don't know, but I just have to make them understand. And that's the dilemma of the evening. I'm trying to understand how to make them understand. Hope everybody has a great morning. Stay healthy. Fuck cancer.